to hear from some videos of local BIPOC providers and patients about their experiences in our community. Given time and COVID restraints, we were fortunate to work with Monica Kohler of Connecting Community Bellingham. She is a digital storytelling facilitator, and she helps folks create these beautiful videos. She worked with a group of providers to help them share their stories. And with that, I'm excited to introduce Devyn Nixon. Devyn Nixon is an ARNP, a cardiology and family nurse practitioner at Skagit Regional Health. She received her ARNP from Gonzaga University and is board certified by the American Academy of Nurse Practitioners. She also serves as the VP of the Mount Baker Nurse Practitioners Association and serves on the Mount Baker Planned Parenthood Board and guest lectures at the Western Washington University Nursing Program. She's a member of the praise and worship team at her church, and originally from Capitol Heights, Maryland, she came to the Pacific Northwest because of her dad's military service, and we're so lucky that she stayed. Devyn, passing it off to you.
Hello everyone, good morning and welcome back. I'm a nurse practitioner at Skagit Regional Health. I have no financial disclosures or conflicting relationships to report. One of the traditions in African American culture at the opening of a formal gathering is ancestral and elder reverence. You've seen this evidenced in the too many hashtags trending, calling on us to say their names. Today, I pay homage to my enslaved ancestors whose forced investments into the economy of this nation, they nor their descendants have ever been compensated for. An investment whose dividends sustain the lives of those who benefit from white supremacy. When I was first invited to contribute to this conference, we discussed including patient experiences as part of our digital storytelling. My mother was one of the patients considered. She was excited at the thought of sharing her health journey as a Black woman who grew up in segregation, who accessed military medicine as a veteran and dependent wife, and who had signs and symptoms of heart failure in her 40s. She was eventually accurately diagnosed and lovingly cared for at Skagit Regional Health, the University of Washington, and CMAR, Mount Vernon. My mother, Gail Rainey Barron, passed away peacefully, surrounded by family, on February 8th of this year. As I give honor to my first ancestor, I invite you, right where you are, to consider your own elders and ancestors, to honor them, saying their names together, and we say Ashe. Let's take a couple of seconds to honor those who've helped shape us and who've gone before us by closing our eyes and saying their names. Ashe. This is a CME event, an educational conference. The way we describe education is a westernized concept itself. For the next several minutes, we will take pause from the cognitive look at racism in medicine and bolster our emotional intelligence. For centuries, BIPOC people have been dehumanized in this country, which naturally seeps into the fabric of every aspect of our lives. Through the storytelling process, my colleagues and I humanized ourselves. We spoke of things we are rarely given the time and space to speak of. We encountered themes of being seen as workhorses, some of us being called on to participate in DEI committees and to speak at events because of the diversity our skin represents, but while failing to be acknowledged in other ways. We encountered themes of being put upon to bear the weight of highly charged topics, sometimes without compensation or provision for restorative self-care. The overarching theme, though, was loneliness. This experience was healing because when we were together, we were not alone. When you work in a place where you're the only one, especially if there's a homogeneous majority, The majority can feel like the default or the norm. That's something else, making yourself feel abnormal. The pressure to assimilate, to code switch so as not to draw added attention to your already different existence results in a constant burying of our very soul. Through this process, we provided comfort and healing to one another. We hope our stories offer a kind of education that you won't find in peer-reviewed journals or in data-driven statistics. I've worked in healthcare for over 20 years, starting as a medical transcriptionist, retraining as a registered nurse, and continuing my education to become a family and cardiovascular nurse practitioner. I enjoy singing, reading, spending time with my family and my dogs. Dr. Emmanuel Eusebio has cared for children in the Pacific Northwest for over 2 decades. He's also participated in volunteer projects in South America and the South Pacific. When he isn't practicing medicine, he and his wife are active in their parish and community. They love to sail, fish, hike with their dogs, cheer on the Seattle Sounders, and explore different cultures and cuisines. They have 3 adult children. Dr. Eusebio is a longtime Catholic Youth Organization soccer coach and volunteer with the Boy Scouts of America. Kusamat Shirley Williams, RN, is a member and resident of the federally reserved lands of the Lummi Nation. Her lineage originally comes from the ancestral homelands of the saltwater salmon people, what is now known as the Salish Sea. She and her partner, Suhunep Hushmin Troy Olson, and together they have 3 children and 2 beautiful grandchildren. She enjoys learning about who she is, where she comes from, and helping others do the same. Shirley is passionate about Indigenous public health and addressing root causes of trauma for Indigenous peoples and nature. She envisions her medical office is the Salish Sea, for without Mother Earth, we do not have our health. Visit whiteswanenvironmental.org to learn more about her work. Dr. Chaoying Wu grew up in Connecticut, Japan, and Missouri. As the youngest of 4 children, he attended the University of Washington, where he did pre-med, medical school, and residency in family medicine. After residency, Dr. Wu joined the Public Health Service and worked on the Navajo Reservation in Shiprock, New Mexico. Dr. Wu says without reservation that the team at North Sound Family Medicine and the Family Care Network are the best yet. We'd like to thank you for attending today. We know this conference is not mandatory, and it means a lot to us that you are here. We would like to extend a special thank you to Monica Kohler with Connecting Community, who guided us through this process. We're often asked, where are we from? We invite you to hold space for our answers to that question. Ours are stories of lineage, of immigration, of time immemorial, and of place. These are our stories. Thank you for listening. I am from Prince George's County, Maryland, by way of the motherland and ships. Yarba, Mende, Mandinka, Bantu. I am from the children of the Harlem Renaissance, Black. I am a child of the Civil Rights Movement, soundtrack by Motown, Negro. I am from collard greens and black-eyed peas, from cornbread and tomato soup, African American. I am from singing hymns, saying prayers, and let us stand for the reading of the word, Baptist. I am from lives cut short by segregation, medical apartheid, kidney failure and heart failure, hypertensive. I am from strong men whose lives mattered and still matter. Daughter, sister, wife. I am from smart women, protective, hopeful, warm, loving. I am from Don't Forget You're Black and Be Excellent. I am a young matriarch whose heart holds the lineage and whose hands never had a choice but to work. I am from denied history and undeniable worth.
I am from the islands, far across the sea, filled with smiling faces and gentle winds. I am from Seattle, forests of vibrant green and oceans blue, beautiful and invigorating, yet struggling with an uncertain future. I am of the Philippines, tranquil Pacific waves and exotic tropical aromas, isolated and misunderstood. I am of the church, of prayer, of family and community, traditions of resilience, reconciliation, and hope. I am from progressiveness, suddenly slapped by racial profiling, confused by popularity charts couched as performance metrics, wondering, how do these adjust for implicit bias? Eyes freshly seared by images of George Floyd and Asian hatred, blamed for a virus we did not create, now battling concurrent pandemics, one viral and modern, one moral and ageless. I am of gratitude and anguish, confusion and resilience. Confronting complacency, resolute in my commitment to move forward, eyes open. Seeking clarity, unapologetically speaking the truths I see, while striving for justice and praying for mercy.
Walking in the park, long after dark, taking in the sights of the city. Look around, Eliza. They are trying to do the unimaginable. There are moments that the words don't reach. There's a grace too powerful to name. We push away what we can never understand. We push away the unimaginable. They are standing in the garden.
I am from Medicine People. I am from Elanganuk, the ancestral homelands of the saltwater salmon people. From the place where the Creator threw the stones and created the islands for our people. From the place where the Creator threw the stones and our people returned to the ancestral homelands. Learning from the homeland, That is my favorite childhood place, past, present, future. I am from the beginning of time, where there is the color of peace and renewal, and the end of time, where there is the color of sacrifice, sorrow, and suffering. Going full circle through the dimensions of physical, spiritual, mental, and emotional, I wipe my tears, clear my ears, clear my throat, my heart, my hands, my feet. I straighten my homelands, restore my good mind, and be fair to all people, for place is where health begins. I am from a physical world of cultural, spiritual genocide, marginalization, ethnic erasure, and historical trauma from bystander effect. I am from the blood of the millions forgotten in the name of discovering the Americas, and from the acquired power of those who state they do not understand indigenous public health. I am from generations placed within borders, within borders, within borders. Be invisible, be silent, appease. I am what CNN calls something else. I'm from the spiritual world of the Swan clan, Chief Seattle, House of the Seven Brothers, Weach, Sihom, Lord Jim Bulge, House of Discanum. I'm from a family that remembers our sacred gifts and responsibilities. From Kusamat and Sali Etzeshwala, the spirit of the reef net, the teardrop of the mountain. I'm from the lineage of elders who have told me since I was a child, remember who you are and where you come from, and to believe with male and female balance, we have direct connection to the Creator, and there is magic in your word. I am from the deep, dark secret of a government who used religion to kill the Indian and save the man. I am from truth and healing. I am from resilience. I am from medicine people. I'm from the sacred birthplace of Mother Earth, and I'm from the DNA of the saltwater salmon people. And our food is our medicine. It is sacred. It is our wealth, and it is our health. I am from the red paint, a lineage of medicine men and medicine women, spiritual workers, since time immemorial. And in this moment, I invite you to hold the sacred space and energy of our ancestor, Mother Earth. So together, we can transform the logic, culture, and epistemic injustice of a modern world system that brought us to this global health crisis. Release the illusion and share in the magic of our word.
I am from the woods of Connecticut, days of maple tree climbing and running in the wet grass, nights of mosquito bites and stars, and overnight, perennially soaked sneakers almost dried by the furnace. I am from the magic of spellbinding stories told over long evenings and nights of legendary food. I am from Chinese immigrants, cut off from homeland and extended family by revolution, and so a small family, a family apart and close, hot-tempered but guarded, empathic and yet reserved. I am from a family of joyful, curious, wandering scholars, and yet these hands have become hands of work in a community that has become home. These hands have held newborn babies and lifted the dead, have felt first and last breaths, framing all of us between, have spread into water and into air to feel the flow change so slightly and yet so definitively as spirits enter and depart. These hands have pounded keyboard, mouse, touchpad, left click, and right click that stand between me and my patient's eyes. And these hands have held their hands when there was nothing else left to do. These hands have worked beside friends in so many moments, emergent and mundane, history accumulating as deep and variably as shucks and snow. And in some of those moments, when these hands have injured, when my eyes have not seen, when my words and actions have harmed, when I have been racist, these friends have helped me see so much that I don't yet understand.